Hi, YouTube. It's me, Angela. Today we're going to do some readings by astro sign, but we're going to group them into the elements. So what I've done is I've pre-pulled 4 oracle cards from the Earth Magic deck. This is the deck. It's a good deck. I figured since we're doing the elements, we might as well go all the way there. And then we'll use one for each element, and then go ahead and use the Zen Tarot to define them better by sign within each of the elements, if that makes sense. Just come along for the ride. I'll make sure to mark the chapters in this video too, so you could skip ahead to yours. Okay, so we're going to get started. The first one we're going to do is fire signs, and we'll do Aries, then Leo, then Sag. And let me just get going here and get some cards pulled for everyone. And I will go ahead and move this laptop down too, so you could see it a little better. And then we have Sag. Okay. So the card I pulled for you guys is Wind Activation. So for you fire signs, this is a calling to get started. Take that first step, make the phone call, have the conversation, work on your rough draft if you're creating something new. It's time to get moving. Let's get some projects and some relationships to the next level, and some whatever it is we're trying to create in our experience. Let's do a couple things toward that now. Okay. For Aries, yeah, I pulled your 3-card spread's kind of telling a little tale. So it starts out with sorrow for Aries. So this might be a feeling of, regret or loss, or, I was going to put this down for you guys, wasn't I? Sorry. Let me hide these so they don't get distracting. Yeah, so sorrow is indicating maybe there's some kind of a loss for you, or maybe a sadness. Maybe it's this thing that you want to activate that isn't really coming through. It's not really moving as fast as you want. So this is okay. This is just an indication that you're not where you want to be, right? So let's change that. And the first step to do that, to getting toward where you want to be, is to trust your inner self, your inner voice, your intuition, right? Just open up your channels, open up your energy to really receive guidance, the divine guidance that's waiting to come through you, and see what might my first step be. What might I need to do to move forward in this? Tap into your inner voice. And then when your intuition and your heart are aligned, right, then you're ready to move forward. So this is kind of like move from this into this, right, by receiving the messages from the divine, or listening to my inner self, listening to my source, whatever the words are that you use for that. That's that energy that's behind your persona. You have your persona that shows up every day, that interacts with others, that makes decisions and makes things happen. And all the while, there's that other part of you that's kind of sitting behind it, observing it and experiencing it too. And when that outer persona and that inner person can align and integrate and really move in concert together with all your decisions and all the things you choose to do, then that's where the flow comes in, right? Because you're guided by that inner being. You're guided by that first little nudge of response that we all feel, but sometimes we bypass it, right, when we're coming upon something to decide or whatever. So yeah, so moving from the sorrow to the alignment is going to take some inner exploration for you, Aries. Okay, hope that makes sense. All right, next we have Leo. And Leo, for you guys, your first card, your starting point here for as it pertains to this thing that you want to move forward on is this sense of morality, is this sort of, if you look at this figure, there's a little bit, it's a little harsh, right? There's like, you know, up and down, you know, that graded sort of corset that this person's wearing, and just a very, there's only one way, you know, there's only a right and a wrong. And this kind of has to be sort of let go of and released a little bit in some of us so that we can receive, like we talked about with Aries, we can receive those messages more clearly if we're not locked in mentally on there being only one way, you know, one way to get it done, or labeling things as right and wrong or good or bad. That keeps us boxed in. So the next card is suggesting that you know, allow for the growth, right? This courage card talks about a little seedling, a little seed that's down, way down here in the boulder, covered by its hard outer shell, protected forever, totally safe. It could stay that way always. And it really has no idea, though, what is lying ahead for it until it starts accepting water coming through the cracks, a little bit of sunlight to reach for. You know, it becomes, it transforms as a result of remaining open and willing, right? I'm going to let the water soften my shell a little bit, and then I'll sprout a little and reach toward that sunshine. So the change and the transformation, it sometimes feels like it takes courage, but it also is that sort of sweet spot between decisive, assertive action and waiting for the sign before taking that step, right? Waiting for the point of ease before we make that next step. So that's kind of a softening, you know, we're still going to do what's best for us, but it's not from some preordained, you know, list of right and wrongs that are kind of ingrained in our minds sometimes. And then a combination of, okay, just accepting and allowing what comes and what signs to take, allowing for your transformation. And then your final card, Leo, is the Lovers. And this card can have a few meanings. In this spread here, I'm really feeling that it's about that, you know, the compassionate heart that we all carry, that the sort of highest form of love, which is compassion and really feeling into any situation, and also especially how another is might be experiencing this situation. But in this case, because we started out with the morality, we want to end up, you know, this is a harder edged vibe for us. And it's kind of, like we said, it's boxing us in, but it's kind of to put these standards on ourselves, you know, with all these labels, this is good, this is bad, is kind of mean. It's kind of mean to ourselves to make us fit into these boxes when what we feel, what sways us to move and what we feel inspired by is really what helps us grow, right? This is kind of saying, just stay in line, don't grow, just follow the rules. And we're traveling through a new way here by, you know, using this courage card and then showing some self-compassion, showing some care for ourselves and for those desires that come up in us, and wanting to move forward in that way instead of by somebody else's outline and list. Okay, so now we're doing Sag. And Sag, I've got, see, all of us have started out with kind of all of these so far, when it pertains to this movement card, make a shift, make a change. We're starting out in sort of a stuck place in these spreads, and then we find a way to move through it. So let me show you what we got for Sag. So I got clinging to the past, guidance, and innocence. So we start with clinging to the past, which is definitely a place of feeling stuck. Sometimes using our past to learn from and to prove to ourselves how far we've come is a beautiful, wonderful thing. But sometimes we could get so wrapped up in what the past was, or longing for it, that we forget what's right in front of us. And like this woman, her box of memories is tightly, secured around her head, and she's missing out because she's so wrapped up here that she can't see that her present moment is filled with light and sparkly things and really, really a lot of hope. So finding a way to get unstuck, guess what we have to rely on, Sag? Your inner guidance. This is like such a theme right now for all of these spreads. It's funny. In order to make that move forward, in order to activate that thing toward what we want to see, to what we want to achieve. And remember, this could be an internal thing too. This could be, I just want to, move myself to a next level. I want to, move to another level of my awareness, or I want to remove some things, some parts of my personality that have held me back, like maybe jealousy or envy or judgment or something like that, that's held me back. Let me try to remove that. And then that could be the thing that you want to activate, right? So it could be internal, or it could be a living, breathing person or project. Anyway, the guidance is important, that inner guide. Follow your instincts, follow what you're nudged toward. That's really where the magic is, because it's aligned already. If that nudge is talking to you, that's coming from your inner being, which is what you need to integrate with your outer being, your persona, in order to transform and move forward and stay aligned while you're doing it. It feels really nice when you can have both of those aspects of yourself working together. Then your outcome is innocence. I love this. This is the opportunity to see things with fresh eyes. This old sage has been living and knowing and learning all his life. He knows everything. There's nothing you could teach him, yet he still chooses to witness the world with almost like a childlike wonder, like it's the first time he's ever seen this grasshopper, right? He's choosing to have renewal all the time and see things always as this moment is all there is, right? This is the biggest magical moment of all time. So that's what we want to return to, from the past to the present, right? So all these little journeys have been interesting for all the signs so far. Okay, now we're going to move on to Earth. And for Earth, the oracle I pulled, let me do a quick shuffle here. I hope everybody's doing well. This is, it's been really fun to be back. I'll tell you, I really have enjoyed it. It's good to hear from some of you and just get myself rolling again with doing these readings here. Okay, for Earth, I chose release. This is the autumn equinox, but it's asking for, as the leaves naturally fall from the tree in the fall, there are things that are with you now that you can release and let fall away. They've played their role. They've, lived their cycle, and you can allow them to fall away and make space for new growth. Okay. So that's what I'm getting for the Earth signs. I've got something that needs to be sent on its merry way. So we'll do Taurus first, and then Virgo and Cap. Okay, one more little set. And this is funny how all of these little spreads are talking about journeys. Okay, so for Taurus, the cards that I pulled for you, as it refers to the autumnal, the release card here, are fighting, letting go, and friendliness. Look at that, more trees. I love it. So there's a theme there. So for the fighting card, this is a mental energy. This is a, sort of either there's, a difference of opinion with someone else that maybe you're not getting past, and you're going to have to find a way to sort of let go of that locked head sort of vibe. or this could be within you. This could be, you know, I don't know how to make these decisions for, you know, I don't know whether to go right or left, and it's really making me crazy. I can't do either, you know, that kind of a fighting, conflict type of energy. And of course, what's the answer to that? Well, let go. But not, it's, it sounds more simple than it is. It's not as easy to achieve. But if we can embody, I love the imagery here. If you can work on embodying the energy of water, you know, how this water is dropping right off the lily pad into the pond and then spreading out its rings, you know, moving the energy from there. If you can, you know, imagine that those fighting thoughts or those stuck places in your mind just sort of melted. Imagine it. You know, you could do some imagery there. You could do some, you know, really powerful meditation, just watching those thoughts melt and fall right off, and or make them turn into leaves and have them fall right off the tree. But it definitely is a time to let those things go that have played out their cycle, right? We don't always have to hang on to everything that we've learned and every person we've encountered and you know, every situation that we find ourselves in. We don't have to hold on with permanence like that. That gripping is what causes our suffering, is what causes our stress. And so, you know, moving a little more with the energy is probably a good idea for right now, Taurus. Then your final card is this friendliness card, which is awesome because we're, first of all, more trees, like I said, but also there's a strength here and a sense of autonomy as well. You know, these two trees, they're standing on their own. They're real close together. You know, this could be what you're fighting, you know, this could be another being that you're fighting with, or, you know, dual thoughts that go on and compete in your head or whatever. But the point is these trees stand firmly, each of them in the spot that they are embodying, right? They're each firmly planted. And, you know, from top to root or root to top, their color is vibrant. Where they match and where they meet, it merges a little bit. The yellow and the pink become orange, but neither tree is going to really be taken over by the other, right? They're still firmly in their own space and, you know, close, but separate. That's the idea there. So whatever's happening for you that you're wanting to release, maybe this is just a friend or someone in your life that you want to, you know, I don't want to say cut out, but maybe spend less time with, you know, work on that, that sense of, you know, I am my own tree kind of a feel, that might help with you softening some of that up. If it's not another person that you're thinking of and this sort of fighting energy is going on within you, then you can do the same thing. I have competing thoughts in my mind. I'm going to let each of those thoughts be on their own and not bring up one and then need to bring the other one up in reaction to it. Like, you know, I wish, I don't know, I'm really hungry right now, but, you know, it's not time to eat yet or whatever. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up that's real lighthearted, but we know that those burdensome thoughts that go on in our head don't always have to roll one to the next, right? That's kind of the point I'm trying to get to, is that let them each be on their own instead of creating like a mass of all these negative thoughts, because we can go down that road pretty easily. And instead just try to be in a more present moment awareness and let some of the extra stuff go. Okay. All right. Then we have Virgo. So Virgo, for you, I've got another tree. Look at that. Well, for you, as it has to do with releasing things that are no longer serving you or things that are weighing you down, I pulled past lives in the very beginning here. And this is, in this instance, I'm getting that this really is trying to tell us old patterns, old baggage, old stuff we're hanging on to. It's time to break it. It's time to release it, break the pattern, let go of the, you know, put the thing down, right? Put the burden down, you know, release it, let it go. This card has more of a natural falling away energy, which is what we want to try to achieve. But if you're feeling super, super burdened, you might want to have like a sort of, you know, mental imagery of actually taking the big loads of baggage and placing it down and then walking away from it. That might, you know, that helps. But, you know, releasing one way or the other. The middle card here is experiencing. This is really, really cool because it's another tree. And it's this woman is engaged with the tree. So this is just calling for you to, you know, as you're working on releasing and breaking patterns and getting rid of the stuff that's no longer working, stay in each moment with it. You know, this woman is right there with the tree. The tree is, and you know, embracing her pretty much. And she's very much not just observing the tree or walking by it. She's with it, right? So be with those moments as you're trying to, you know, shed things away and move things away from your experience. Let them fall away is probably the word I wanted to say. And then as they fall away, experience that, feel the absence of that burden, or, you know, sit with that, the space that you're creating by letting this stuff roll away, that you're creating space, and then feel that out before you move on to the next choice, right? And then your final card is success. So this probably honoring every moment as you work on the release is the key to your success. Just honor every moment fully. Okay, Capricorn. I got a duplicate card from the last group. So yours starts out, Cap, as it pertains to this energy of letting things go. I got postponement. There's a sense that you're not where you want to be. Your goals are far off in the distance. Maybe you're trapped in something that requires you to let go of something, but you don't feel comfortable doing that yet. You know, you're not ready to do a full release. So you feel kind of stuck, maybe. That's okay. We get to this energy at times. And what is the response to this postponement card and this feeling of longing and that we don't have the things we want? The innocence card again. This is a true appreciation of everything that is in our experience. You know, this is the vibe of the things I want are not in my experience, but the shift is not to assertively go after it and try to make it fit, even if it's, or this one, if it's not coming through, but the shift to do is to, you know, be more appreciative in every moment. This, you know, like we said before, this old sage knows everything, but he is fascinated by the grasshopper as if he's never seen one before in his life, because he's never seen that one before, right? He's fully embodying that moment and really engaging in every moment, and then seeing it through fresh eyes, like, you know, life's new again in this moment. And that's where the grayness in this card can be washed away, as if we come with our, you know, open up our eyes with sort of a childlike wonder toward things. That's going to create change for you. Okay, Capricorn, that's the key right there. And remember, you know, change is constant, like this spinning wheel in the sky, always moving, always moving. If we grip too hard to things that are naturally in motion, you know, like relationships or, you know, our own vibration, right? Or, you know, living, you know, wherever our living space is, you know, sometimes things are transitory. Most things in life are transitory, and we have, if we don't stay on that roll, on that vibe, with that motion, you know, with the change, we get it caught up. If we're gripping to that outer part of the wheel, we're going to get dizzy and fly off, right? If we rest more in the center and realize this change is constant, it might feel chaotic, but it's always going to be around. but we're always okay in the center of it, right? Staying rooted and grounded. It's not as, the effect isn't as damaging or as traumatic for us if we can just kind of rest in our center, regain our equanimity, and find a way to adapt to the change that's coming. So that's what I got there for you, Cap. Okay, we're going to move to air. Start with Gemini. And for you guys, the oracle I pulled for the air signs is the iceberg. This is deep, literally. You know how they say, I don't even know what the numbers are. I'm going to make them up, so don't correct me. But, you know, 10% of an iceberg is all we really ever see. The rest of the 90% is deep underwater. And this is interesting for you air signs, because I'm wondering if something is emerging for you, or if you're, you know, eager to dig a little deeper into something, you know, like look for where the roots of a situation are or something. So let's just see. Okay, we're going to do Gemini first, and Libra and Aquarius. Okay. So I'm going to do Gemini, Libra, and Aqua. All right. So we have the iceberg. We have things are hidden that we can't always see, that we can't always detect. And sometimes we could do a deep dive to try to explore what's going on, you know, behind the curtain or under the scene. But sometimes we want to kind of leave well enough alone, right? So this is up to you. We're going to do Gemini first. This will be up to you as to whether you're wanting to sort of uncover some of that or let it be. But there is, you know, there is a lot. You could also just take this as there's a lot of energy that you can't see that's always working with you to make something happen. You could take it as that too, like not always the dark depths of things, but also just things that are unseen, but present. Okay. So I've got the miser. This is for Gemini. I'm going to just make an executive decision and stop lowering and raising the laptop because I don't think it's helping any really. I'm going to show you the cards anyway. Okay. The miser this card is talking about how we close ourselves off from connecting with others at times. And we carry all of our richness, you know, whether it's literally like our money and our belongings, or the sweet spot and the real richness of who we are. Sometimes we hide that and we hold that to ourselves, and we don't want to become vulnerable, you know, to lower that wall and connect with others. Sometimes it's not the time to do that for us. And it feels that for some of you, Gemini, you may be in a period like this, where you just kind of want to stay, you know, cozy in your own space and not really make a move to share and connect. Totally okay. But eventually, right? Because that's making me kind of feel like some of that iceberg energy for you, Gemini, is you, right? Instead of something that you're experiencing or witnessing, this might represent you, that you're just holding it all in right now. And, you know, like I said, that is what we do sometimes in order to self-protect. Eventually, there's going to maybe come a time where an opening needs to begin. And I pulled the compromise card for you. So at some point, you may have to soften some of that, you know, that wall that's holding you and protecting you right now. It's perfectly fine. You can just let one brick down of that wall, right? And start to emerge again, right? And then your final card is the Rebel, which is you totally emerged. right? It's you just busting out. Look, he's breaking the chains down here. They're chaining his feet. He's got the torch leading the way. You know, he's got wings on his back. He's ready to go. Just be fully unapologetically you, from this to this. And there is a path for that. And this whole cycle of, you know, finding ourselves withdrawn and submerged and pulled in, and then finding a way to sort of loosen that up a little, and then coming back out with our full being. You know, we go through those cycles several times in a lifetime. All of us do. So this is a natural process. This could just be maybe where you are right now, Gemini, and then calling an awareness to it. It's good, without judgment, without self-judgment, just calling an awareness to it. And then saying, where are some opportunities for me to open this up a little bit and reconnect again? You know, emerge. Okay, so now we move to, we're doing Libra. Yeah, we're doing Libra now. So for your iceberg, submerged sort of depths of the depth vibration, I get the same thing. Like maybe this is going on. Maybe it's something that for Libra that you want to see come about, and it just doesn't feel like it's coming. That bottom half of the iceberg is just staying elusively away, and you want it to buoy up a little bit. So what I got for you was guidance. So this is your inner guide again. I would say, you know, talk to yourself, find out if this thing that you're trying to uncover or discover is feeling, you know, a little too big, a little too massive of an undertaking to handle. Then listen, you know, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do right now to move toward uncovering this, to opening this up, to creating more of an opening in my experience. And next to the guidance card, I pulled receptivity. So this is listening to your inner guide, but also receiving the signs from the divine. You know, the more open you are, especially, you know, that crown chakra energy is really, really lit up in this card, and the energy is moving through this figure, receiving from spirit the signs or the inclination. All the decisions don't have to be made at once, right? Like if there's a whole bunch to sift through and discover, Libra, that you don't even know where to start, make one decision, you know, find a way forward in the littlest step possible, and then maybe something else opens up. Stay open to, when I make this step, when I take this action, what's the response out? What am I noticing as a result of that? Oh, this person kind of liked the idea. Okay, let me go in that direction then, or that kind of a thing. I was thinking in terms of like a project or something that wants to unfold. And then your final card is breakthrough. So yeah, with this inner guidance and staying open to the signs from spirit, you create a situation where, you know, all that ice is just busted open, right? You can actually get rid of a lot of that stuck energy just by backing off and staying centered and open, right? We don't always have to assert ourselves into situations in order to make them go. Okay, so I've got the last one. What are we doing? Oh, Aquarius. So Aquarius is, as it pertains to this submerged, the first card I pulled for you is mind. So perhaps some of this feeling like there's stuff that's tampered down, there's stuff that I can't see yet, there's stuff that, you know, isn't certain. A lot of that stuff is mental chatter, right? When something is ready to reveal itself to you in your life, anything at all, it will in the moment it's meant to, right? When it's ready, it will reveal itself. And what we do with our minds is we jump ahead into, why isn't it here yet? Why haven't I been able to, you know, whatever. We want to think our way through a lot of our path. We want to make sure, you know, we have all the plans in order and we have all the things we need, and we want to make sure we talk to the right people and that kind of thing, which is wonderful. It's a wonderful human quality that we have, to think and discern and to be able to make those decisions. However, no amount of thinking is going to move that iceberg before it's ready, right? If we think of it as such. So the response to the chattering mind is silence, is rest. You know, the figure, that full moon is right there in the third eye of this figure. So it kind of says, trust your intuition, open up your channels, listen to spirit. You know, when our mind is going, we're not connected all the time, right? When our mind is going, we're active in this earth body, and which is beautiful and wonderful. And I'm talking about chattery thoughts. I'm not talking about the higher consciousness part of our mind, but that sort of limbic part of our brain, that when that's in action, it's very hard to engage on a higher level. So just being aware when those thoughts are there, and then to remember to respond by pulling back and resting in silence and just listening, literally listening for whatever signs come through for you. And then what that creates is, for you, Aquarius, up until now, you've been feeling like you're separated. This is kind of like that postponement card I pulled earlier, but up until now, you feel separated from the place you want to be, right? This little figure is on the other side of that gate. He wants to be over there where the rainbows are. But the truth is, if you look at the lock on that chain, it's not engaged. So really all you got to do is open the gate and take a step through. Okay. And I know it feels sometimes like, how could I ever manage that? How could I ever, but you can. And that's what will start to have things come to light again, is just to, go forward, take a step forward in whatever way or speed or timing that you choose, that you can. And that those answers come from those moments of silence, those moments of retreat, right? Okay, we're going to move to water. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, what do we have for you? The oracle I pulled for you guys, water signs, is meadow and vulnerability. I love that. Wide open meadow, allowing vulnerability to be present, which is sometimes hard, but we know that that's the way we grow, is to, allow that uncertainty, and sometimes, lower confidence level in a situation, allowing that to be there, allowing it to be there. It's, there's nothing that you can, I think what I'm trying to say is you're imagining the imagination of a situation. Oh, how could this turn out? How could this have happened to me? And how is it going to turn out? That sometimes is worse than the actual just feeling into it and allowing for that, those vulnerable spaces to be with you. They don't last, right? They're not gonna, hang on to you forever. Okay, so let's see. We're going to start with Cancer. I've got Cancer here as it relates to vulnerability. I've got turning in. So this figure here, she's in a meditative state. She's haunted. She's got all these thoughts and worries and everything in her experience, but she's disconnected from it by turning in. And I love the water imagery here too for you, Cancer, because water. But the response to, oh, I'm worried, I'm scared, I don't want to look stupid, I don't want to sound wrong, I don't want to, I don't want to open up my heart to someone without, knowing how they're going to respond. It's too scary. Take a breath, right? Go within and trust this. Trust that you can feel this deeply without, without too much strain, without too much discomfort. You can feel it. It won't be your favorite feeling, but then you can move from it if you just, stay centered. Then the next card I got for you is the Fool, right? Take your step down that next road, right? This feels a little shaky. I'm a little worried. I think I'll turn in and listen to my inner being, and then find a way to move one step from this vulnerable moment. Just even looking down the path of moving away from the vulnerable moment, but allowing it to be there for a little bit. And then your final card is Flowering, because when you took the time to turn in and sort of be in a meditative state as it pertains to these vulnerable feelings, when you took that time to allow it to be there, you created new intentions, right? You set yourself, down a new path and created new intentions. And there they come. There they come with that Flowering card. Okay, next we're going to do Scorpio. So Scorpio, whoops, I only pulled 2 cards for you, Scorp. Let me see. Okay. So Scorpio, as it pertains to allowing yourself to be vulnerable, right? Well, look what we got. Share a little more. So sometimes we're feeling real vulnerable when it comes to opening up our heart, when it comes to, showing someone who we truly are. And it's kind of, they go hand in hand. I feel worried to do this, but it really is the way to do away with this, right? The sharing is the way to do away with the vulnerability, or to at least start to move past it. So that's your first guidance, Scorp. And then I pulled We Are the World. This is that vibe of, use your connections, reach out to others, find a way to accept some help, because sometimes even asking for help makes us feel vulnerable. But if you, show up as your full self and connect with others and make it a team effort, ask for help through difficult situations, then, you find yourself, the path feels smoother, and you don't feel so alone. And the sharing, opening up and reaching for the help has paid off then. And then your final card is Completion. So this is like, starts out, I'm so uncertain, I don't know what to do. Well, let me just show up and share and reach out to somebody and connect and ask for the help. And then I can move past it. Whoops. And then I can move past it. This is a, kind of a quick version of something that could take time, but still those are the basic phases. And it starts with, kind of opening up your heart and giving from there, or showing up and sharing your truths from the heart. Okay. And now Pisces. Well, Pisces, as it pertains to the vulnerability card, I'm not sure what your inclination would be. Maybe it's to just like swim past it and not stay with those feelings. But you're being called to slow down and move from moment to moment and trust. This energy of the tortoise is, his feet are always, there is no, I don't know, you don't get the sense, I don't know, I've never been in a tortoise's brain, but you don't get the sense that they are, as they move, that they're thinking, oh, I can't wait to get 5 miles up that way, right? They're just right here. And then they're right here, right? They're just moving right where they are. And the same with this moment to moment energy too. This guy's actually walking down this river from stone to stone with his eyes closed, because like the tortoise, he knows when he needs to take his next step, the timing will be perfect and he will be supported. So if your inclination, Pisces, when in moments of vulnerability and uncertainty and you know, maybe even just scary moments. What we want to do is swim right past it and get rid of it. But really the guidance is to be in it, to go ahead and feel each step, feel each moment. You will move through it, right? And then look what I pulled for your final card, the adventure card. So just by allowing yourself to receive each moment as it comes and to be in each step as you're inclined to do so, without racing ahead or without, you know, holding back, just be right in the motion of a step-by-step movement through this experience. Then it creates, first of all, I think a sense of wonder and like, this is so much better. I could see the scenery as I'm moving through these issues, and I can, you know, really grab onto another person and really engage with them instead of racing past it because I don't want to feel it, right? It creates a new sense of you, really, and things to look forward to in your experience, in your path. So I love it. All right, you guys, I hope everything's okay. And the next video that I post will be the official transition into the new name. This channel is going to stay the same. You're still going to be subscribed, but to avoid confusion, I want you to know that I'm going to be changing the look of it and changing the name and kind of announcing that. So that's coming up soon. All right. I hope you guys are well, and I will see you very soon. Good morning, Scorpio. It's the next day from the reading I did. I skipped you. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. We were in water signs, and I went from Cancer straight to Pisces. So I'm sorry. So here's your reading, Scorpio. Remember, our oracle card was the meadow, vulnerability, and those places where we feel a little bit raw, a little bit shaky, maybe, and maybe a little worried. But I think we can move through this pretty well with using these Zen cards. Let me show you what I got for you. Okay. So I saved the best for last, right, Scorpio? All right. So the first card I got for you as it pertains to your spaces of vulnerability, those places in you where you're not quite certain, you want to bring everything out and show your true self or take that risk, right? Sometimes just showing our true selves feels like a risk. So that's why I went there with you, and water signs too, especially. We want to kind of hold our feelings and hold things deep, but they do need to come out, and it's okay to bring them out. This could also mean, like I said, taking risks that where the outcome isn't certain. So your first oracle card that I got to go with that is a water card. So to go along with your water sign, but it's asking go with the flow. It's letting the stream and the flow and the waves of life take you instead of trying to fight it or hold steady against crashing waves or whatever. Just move with the energy. Move with the energy. Sometimes if we feel we, we want to go sort of against this flow, that's okay, because sometimes we need that in order to, climb mountains and get to the next level. But right now it is time to flow. Right now for you, it's time to flow, let things be as they are, let things flow to and through you, and then back out. What this does is it creates more of a self-awareness. It lifts the veil. It gives you that assurance that trusting in the divine and trusting in the movement of the universe does take away some of those sort of stuck feelings. It brings in ease. And even through the hard times, even through the stuff that's difficult, moving with it helps it to pass sooner, right? That's the focus. And the inner awareness that you're gaining through this is creating your mastery. of yourself, of your spirit, moving through this life, moving through this planet, and beyond. And it keeps you connected to the divine. You know, that certain ease and flow keeps you connected to the divine and keeps you in your mastery of your spiritual journey on this planet. So I think it was worth waiting for, because this was a good, a positive outcome for you, Scorp. Really just move with that energy and allow things to be as they are. When you feel so inclined to, you know, hold steady during vulnerable times, that's okay, but always allow yourself to move through it instead of staying in place and creating bigger moments of fear and bigger feelings of stuckness, right? So that's the key, and that's the result. You got this. All right, Scorp. Thank you for being patient with me as I skipped you, even though you probably can't tell because I'm going to tack this right onto the end of the video and you won't be able to tell, except that it's the next day and I'm in different clothes. Okay, bye. See you next time.